NFL Draft Day is finally here, and Joe Schoen's son might have just ruined Joe Schoen's master plan to select his potential next franchise quarterback. Also, Todd McShay, he had some major things to say about Shedeur Sanders and the New York Giants and whether they are still interested in the Colorado quarterback. A lot of rumors to break down here on the channel today, and that's why you subscribe. We're also going to be live on the channel 90 minutes before the NFL draft starts. We'll be live for every single pick, and we'll be live for day 2 and day 3 of the NFL draft. And we are trying to beat the Dallas Cowboys Report, our rival channel here, and subscribers picked up in the month of April. We're in the lead right now, but I want to put them in the dirt. So hit that sub button and lock us in. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We'll talk about what Joe Schoen's son did, and unless it is the greatest smokescreen of all time, Joe, your son is going to be in some big trouble, I would assume. But let's start with Shedeur Sanders and what Todd McShay had to say, where essentially he's putting his reputation on the line. Quote, Shedeur Sanders is not going to be a New York Giant. Shedeur Sanders is not going to be a New Orleans Saint. And this comes yesterday, a couple of days after McShay pretty much said, do not rule out Shedeur Sanders at number 3. But he said he recently received this information. Some interviews for Shedeur Sanders did not go well, including with the New York Giants. Also saying it didn't go well with Brian Daboll and with the Giants organization. I'm not sure if that was, and McShay kind of hinted that was at the NFL Combine, but that could have been at the top 30 visit, or that could have been at the private workout when they went to Boulder, Colorado. But it is not a good look for Shedeur if this is true, if he does still want to be a New York Giant after having custom cleats made and hung out with Malik Neighbors and did all of this flirting with the New York Giants. If your interview and your top 30 visit and your formal interview at the Combine did not go well, especially with Brian Daboll, who at this time seems like he is being given the power to select a quarterback in round 1 if that opportunity does present itself. And you're on the bad side of Daboll, I don't think you're going to be the quarterback of this team. Todd McShay, look, I've been listening to your stuff all offseason long. You've been my go-to all offseason long, and I'm not going to say I believe you, but I'm also not calling you a liar. I'll say this. Your reputation is on the line here. If the Giants go and pick Shedeur Sanders at 3, I will never listen, and I don't think anyone should ever listen to you again. If they don't, then you are right, and that's a big check mark for you. I'm not saying he's telling the truth, and I'm not saying he's lying. I'm just not ruling out the idea of Shedeur Sanders being a New York Giant until I see Roger Goodell announce his name and he puts a different hat on. If he puts a hat on for the Steelers, then, you know what, I will believe he's not a New York Giant. But until that moment happens, I am not ruling it out. So much flirting between the Giants, Brian Daboll, the DAP heard around the world, all for it to come out 24 hours before the draft that Brian Daboll and Shedeur Sanders essentially did not get along. And the phrase that stuck with me is, Brian Daboll is anti-Shedeur Sanders. That's pretty ruthless. What do you think? Should the Giants draft Shedeur Sanders? Maybe not at pick 3, but maybe they trade into round 1 and get a quarterback, because that's what a lot of the smoke seems like at this point. Type D for draft, type P for pass if you want Shedeur on this football team. Joe Schoen's son, famously known for saying that the New York Giants should have traded up for Jaden Daniels. Well, on Instagram last night, he shared a highlight reel of Jaxson Dart. Why did he do that? We'll talk about that around the corner. First, though, I got to tell you about our proud sponsor of today's video, and that is Game Time. With the draft here, that means NFL Sundays are right around the corner, and the best place to get tickets to go see Big Blue for the lowest price guaranteed is Game Time. Also, the NBA playoffs are going on, so if you want to go watch the Knicks, best place to do it is with Game Time. And with our promo code ChatSports, you get $20 off, your first purchase where terms do apply. Promo code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You can also save up to 60% off Buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and so much more. Last-minute tickets is what this app specializes in. It's also easy to decide which ticket you want because you get to have views from the seat and lowest price guaranteed, and that's something we all can appreciate. You want to go watch the Knicks in the playoffs? Do it with Game Time. Make sure you turn on that all-in pricing and Game Time picks feature so you lock yourself in to the best seat for the lowest price guaranteed. You can also go watch the Yankees as Aaron Judge is doing things that we have never seen before. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It is game time, ladies and gentlemen. Lock in, support the show, support the sponsor. All righty, so last night, Giants Twitter and Giants Instagram and everything Giants related was set ablaze when Carson Shane, the son of Joe Shane, the general manager of the New York Giants, went to Instagram to share this highlight reel of Jaxson Dart. He then changed his profile from public to private, and he reportedly deleted this because I think Joe Shane figured out and he wasn't too happy. There's been a lot of smoke around Jaxson Dart and the Giants. This added fuel to the fire, and everyone is saying that Jaxson Dart is now the Giants quarterback that they want. Peter Schrager, who has a really good relationship with Joe Shane, saying there's some buzz locally here in New York about Jaxson Dart being the preferred quarterback to Shedeur Sanders and the Giants organization. So you have that. And then you have the odds makers out west pretty much saying the same thing. Shout out to my guy Monty. Go show him some love. Support his podcast. Awesome dude. Makes awesome content. Shout out to him. That's my guy. Favorites for each QB according to the FanDuel Sportsbook. Shedeur Sanders, minus 135, with the Giants being plus 550. Jaxson Dart, the Giants, odds-on favorite at minus 120, with the Saints being plus 250. Then Jalen Milroe, the odds-on favorite to be a Brown at plus 230, with the Giants at plus 430. So Peter Schrager says that Jaxson Dart is the QB they want. The betting odds say that Jaxson Dart is going to be a Giant. And Dan Graziano this morning on ESPN saying the Giants have settled on Dart as their preference. Look, when you're 24 hours away from the NFL draft, a lot of stuff just gets thrown into the wall and sees if it could stick. But there is almost too much smoke to ignore at this point between Jaxson Dart and the New York Football Giants. I have been told the New York Giants are dying to trade into round one to select their quarterback. They may have to leapfrog the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, to get their guy, because although a lot of people think Shedeur Sanders is going to the Steelers, I have also heard that they are interested in Jaxson Dart. And unless that Todd McShay, Daniel Jeremiah, and Peter Schrager all have the same source, and that source is wrong, this is insane. Because McShay, Jeremiah, and Schrager all put out mock drafts on Wednesday that had the Giants taking Abdul Carter at 3 and trading back into round 1 for Jaxson Dart. This is either the greatest smokescreen of all time by Joe Shane, including having his son share a highlight reel of Jaxson Dart to his Instagram, or the Giants have a leak in their front office and they have a loud mouth and everybody knows what the New York Giants are going to do. I don't know which one it is. We're going to find out in less than 12 hours. It does sound like the price for the Giants to go from pick 34 to move back into the first round. We've heard maybe the Seattle Seahawks could be a destination. The Denver Broncos could be a destination. The Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Washington Commanders are all teams that we know the New York Giants could look to trade up with. And it sounds like to make that happen, they would have to give up pick 34 and maybe just 65 or number 99. Peter Schrager had this mock trade in his mock draft that had the Giants moving up from 34 to 26 and giving up pick 99. So you get to keep pick 65, and if you feel this strongly about a quarterback, I don't think this price is too much to pay. What do you say? Would you make this trade? If you were Joe Shane and you were able to move up from 34 to 26 to select your quarterback of your dreams, would you do it? Type A for accept, type D for decline. At this point, this is what I'm settling on. If Brian Daboll thinks that there is a quarterback in this draft class that is worth selecting or trading up for, go do it. You hired him for one reason, to identify a quarterback and develop that quarterback. And if he identifies that quarterback, I want him to have the opportunity to develop that said quarterback. Because at the end of the day, we're either going to find out if Brian Daboll is the head coach or not. And if it takes missing on a quarterback, you know what? I am okay with that. Because then if it doesn't work, we can wash our hands and move on. But if it does, we're going to have a damn good head coach and potentially a difference maker at quarterback. I know we're talking a lot about what the Giants are going to do at the back end of round one when they don't even have a pick. I can let you know Abdul Carter is the New York Giant at 3. I'm very confident in that. I don't see how he's not. Everything I've been told, everything I've read, everything I've talked to, and messaging people this morning, Abdul Carter, the Giants at number 3, sounds like a done deal, and I'm fired up about it. If you're ready for Abdul Carter to be a Giant, turn up the AC, freeze him out, ice the game, Abdul. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up icon, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel and following me on social media, because the first place you'll hear about who the New York Giants select is on my Twitter and here, live on the channel. I want to see you there. If you're going to tune in to our live coverage at any point during draft weekend, give me a hashtag real one down below.